In this lecture, we are going to study decision properties of finite automata. Now, decision property for a class of automaton is the algorithm that answers whether a particular automaton holds a particular property. Decision property for a class of automaton is an algorithm which answers whether a particular automaton holds a particular property. Now, consider examples. If you are given a DFA M, then whether language of the DFA is empty language. This is called emptiness property. Whether the language of the DFA is infinite, it is infiniteness property. Whether W belongs to language of the DFA, this is membership property. Now these are some examples. We are going to study algorithms for some more properties also. Now important point is that decision property is an algorithm, and algorithm always ends in finite number of steps for any input. If you have some process which takes infinite time or infinite steps, then you cannot call it as decision property. It will be undecidable property. We are going to study undecidable properties when we will study Turing machine. But the important thing is that every decision property is an algorithm, and algorithm always ends in finite number of steps. Now in this lecture, we are going to study decision properties of finite automata. Now finite automata can be NFA, it can be DFA, it can be NFA with or without epsilon, it can be DFA. But we know that for every NFA, we can have equivalent DFA. So when we discuss algorithm, then we are going to assume that if the input is NFA with or without epsilon moves, first we are going to convert it into DFA and then the algorithm will proceed. So first we will start with emptiness property of DFA. Now let's consider emptiness property. So these are the steps in the algorithm. For the given DFA, first remove all unreachable states and corresponding incoming and outgoing transitions. In step 2, in remaining part of the DFA, after removing unreachable states, check whether there is at least one final state remaining. If there is at least one final state remaining, then language of the DFA is not empty language, else language of the DFA is empty language. Now let's understand this using some examples. Consider DFA M1. So first we have to find reachable states in M1. So initial state is P. From P we can reach to Q and R. From P we can reach to Q and R. State S is unreachable, so we will remove state S and its transitions. So we remove state S and the transition. Now in remaining DFA, there is at least one final state Q. That means this DFA accepts at least one string and it is not empty. Language of the DFA is not empty. So here it accepts string A, AB and so on. Language of the DFA is not empty. Now consider DFA M2. Initial state is P. From P we can reach to Q. States R and S, they are unreachable. So we will remove those states and their transitions. So in this remaining DFA, there is no final state. Now for a DFA to accept a string, there should be at least one final state. Here there is no final state, so language of M2 is empty language. So language of M1 is not empty language. Language of M2 is empty language. And important point over here is, for a given DFA, if every reachable state is non-final state, then language of the DFA is empty language. Now consider infiniteness property for finite automata. We have to check whether language of the given DFA, it contains infinite number of strings or finite number of strings. So this is the algorithm. First remove unreachable states and their transitions. After that, remove all non-final states which do not reach to any final state. After removing unreachable states, we have to check each non-final state and we have to make sure that it reaches to at least one final state. If non-final state does not reach to any final state, we have to remove that non-final state and its transitions. Now in step 3, we have to check if there is at least one self loop or cycle of transitions. If there is at least one self loop or cycle of transitions, then we can say that language of the DFA is infinite language. If there is no self loop, no cycle of transitions, then language of the DFA is finite language. Now let's understand this using some examples. Consider DFA M1. Step 1, remove unreachable states. So from P we can reach to Q and S. From Q we can reach to R and T. All states are reachable. In second step, we have to remove non-final states which do not reach to any final state. P is a non-final state. It reaches to Q. Q is a final state. For non-final state S, it can reach only to T. It cannot reach to Q or R. So we have to remove S. Similarly, for state T also, it can reach to only S. It cannot reach to Q or R. So we will remove state S, T and their transitions. So in this remaining automata, there is no self loop, there is no cycle of transitions. So language of M1 is finite. Now consider DFA M2. First we have to remove unreachable states. From P we can reach to Q. From Q we can reach to R. State S is unreachable. We have to remove state S and transitions of S. Now for every non-final state, we have to make sure it reaches to at least one final state. For non-final state P, it can reach to Q, Q is final. From R also, we can reach to Q, Q is final. R to P, P to Q. Now in the remaining part of the automata, we can find at least one self loop. So we can say that language of M2 is infinite. Also we can find a cycle of transitions. P to Q, Q to R, R to P. There is at least one cycle of transitions. So language of M2 is infinite language. So first we have to remove unreachable states. After that, we have to remove those non-final states which do not reach to any final state. And after that, if there is at least one self loop or at least one cycle of transitions, then language of the DFA is infinite. Otherwise, it is finite language. Now regarding infiniteness of the finite automata, I have explained this part in the beginning, that while considering decision properties of FA, if the input is NFA, then we are assuming that NFA is converted to equivalent DFA and then we are running the remaining algorithm. If you consider this example, then all states are reachable. Each non-final state is reachable to some final state. Here we have cycle of transitions also, but it contains only epsilon transitions. But if you consider this automata, language of this automata is finite language, it is not infinite language. So while considering decision properties, first we have to convert NFA to DFA and then we have to run remaining algorithm. Now let's discuss membership property for finite automata. Now the membership property is for given string W and the DFA M, whether W belongs to language of the DFA. Now this part is obvious. We simply process string W left to right for the given DFA. If processing ends in final state, the string is accepted. If it ends in non-final state, the string is rejected. If the processing ends in final state, W belongs to language of the DFA. If the processing ends in non-final state, then W is not part of language of the DFA. Now if this part is so obvious, why are we discussing this? So right now we are studying finite automata. Going ahead, we will study push down automata and then Turing machine. So for finite automata, membership property is decidable. For PDA, push down automata also, membership property is decidable. When we will study Turing machine, we will see that membership property is undecidable for Turing machine. So this is important from exam point of view. they will give you some property and they will give you some type of automata, and they will ask whether the property is decidable or undecidable for that type of automata. So from that point of view, it is important to know that for finite automata and pushdown automata, membership property is decidable, but for Turing machine, membership property is undecidable. Consider next property, containment property. If you are given two finite automata, M1 and M2, then containment property is whether language of M1 is subset of language of M2. Now we know that if L1 is subset of L2, then L1 minus L2 is empty set. We are going to use this property. Now when we studied cross product of DFA, we have studied how to construct cross product DFA for L1 minus L2. So we are going to use it over here. So in first step, we are going to construct cross product DFA for L1 minus L2. We have to construct cross product DFA for L1 minus L2, not L2 minus L1. In second step, we are going to check cross product DFA L1 minus L2 for emptiness. If cross product DFA is for empty language, then L of M1 is subset of L of M2. If cross product DFA is not for empty language, then L of M1 is not subset of L of M2. So the important point is containment property is decidable for finite automata. Now the next property to discuss is equivalence property. If you are given two DFA M1 and M2, then whether language of M1 is same as language of M2. Now the method we are going to discuss in this lecture is easy to explain, but it is not efficient. The efficient method will be discussed in some other lecture. Now we know that if L1 is equal to L2, then L1 minus L2 is empty language. Also L2 minus L1 is empty language, and we can use cross product for L1 minus L2 and L2 minus L1. So first construct cross product DFA for L1 minus L2 and check it for emptiness. Then construct cross product DFA for L2 minus L1 and check it for emptiness. If both cross product DFA for L1 minus L2 and L2 minus L1 are for empty language, then we can say that L of M1 is equal to L of M2. If either of them or both of them are not for empty language, then L of M1 is not equal to L of M2. So this method is easy to explain, but the efficient method I will explain in some other lecture. In GATE exam or in any other exam, if you have to check whether language of 2 DFA is same or not, if you have to check equivalence of 2 DFA, then you should not go for the cross product. You should go for efficient method, and that efficient method we will discuss in some other lecture. So conclusion of this lecture is emptiness property, infiniteness property, membership property, containment property, and equivalence property. These properties are decidable for finite automata. Emptiness, infiniteness, membership, containment, and equivalence. These properties are decidable for a finite automata.